My name is Paul Hayes. I am the ceramics chair of the Indianapolis Art Center. I work with 10 other teachers here to teach ceramics of all sorts, wheel throwing, hand building, anything like that. And yeah, we run a full studio pretty much every single day of the week. And we fire a total of 7 different kilns and different types of firing.
So because it's National Arts and Education Week, I thought I would go ahead and ask you what arts education has done for you in your life. What kind of opportunities has it given you? What are you thankful for about it? That kind of thing?
Arts education honestly functions very similarly to my lungs. It's a part of my breathing everyday life. It gives me a pulse. It gives me a very good excuse to get out of bed every day. I have benefited from art education and art in general, just as a way to deal with stress, as a way to make a living, and a way to meet people. Honestly, it's been a huge benefit for me as far as meeting people in society.
That kind of leads me to a tangential question, but what do you like about the Indianapolis art scene in particular? Because it sounds like you've been able to engage a lot in your art through this community.
Absolutely. Indianapolis is always, I mentioned lungs earlier, it's always breathing with different strands of art. One of the first things I did when I moved here was I went to a music concert in a house down in Fountain Square, and I remember just being blown away at the talent that I was seeing there. First Friday has been a really very engaging thing throughout the city, and is every day. And not just like specific fine art, but you see things like the cultural trail going up and around town, and you see people's hard work all throughout the city and downtown, and it's really beautiful. It's a fascinating thing to see day in and day out.
I think that's a good lead up to this next question. So as far as arts education in our broader community, maybe limited to Indianapolis, maybe the culture of the nation when it comes to arts education, what kind of things do you think we're doing well and could be doing better?
Well, arts education and honestly other branches of education as well have been somewhat stifled, I think, a lot in recent years. And I don't actually believe that that's a bad thing. I see when I see art get kind of snuffed out in some way or attempted to be left behind, I think I see art really rise up, and I see it sometimes get maybe a chip on its shoulder and really work to be noticed and to be, again, just a beacon for people and society.
Do you think it's that level of kind of being put on the sidelines that kind of makes artists strive to, create new movements and to kind of bridge that gap with their creativity?
Absolutely, yeah, I see that every day. I see, especially with young kids, and that to me is a really fascinating and just wonderful thing to see. Young kids that might not get the same art classes that I got or maybe my parents got, but they get, a lot of times, even the Art Center does some outreach programming that gives them a voice in the art world, and I see it just becoming a big deal to them all of a sudden, and an inspiration in their life. And so for a lot of people, at some points in my own life, that's all you have, and I think that trying to put it off to the side or the back burner, like you said, I think it comes out stronger and more passionate.
I really like that philosophy, and stance on like where art is at right now, because I think it's a tough time for a lot of people,
Sure.
just with the news and not having access to the arts. And so I suppose we'll leave it with, do you have any words of inspiration for those people out there struggling right now who may not have access to the arts in the way they want to, or tips, that kind of thing?
In my experience, I believe that you have to find an outlet, no matter what creative source you're drawing from. Find an outlet every single day, and multiple times a day, and that well will never dry up that way if you just continue to put in work and hours of work.